Sam, do you want to play us in?
Dude, I got the soulful
Please.
tunes
Okay.
with this deep baritone acoustic guitar.
Play us
with
in
all
with
the
that
souls.
brand new baritone.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Get some of those vibes.
Somebody's finger picking has gotten better.
Ooh. Sam paid the debt he owed him.
That's
but
right.
He's still a branded man. Hey, I got a bit.
Do you?
Yeah. We can officially start the podcast.
That's a
after
great
my
way to
bit.
start a bit, is to introduce it as a bit.
So for the last month, I've been to 16 states in the country, and by RV, SUV, etc. And one thing you do when you're on road trips is you stop, you check your tire pressure, especially
Yeah,
when
sure.
you're in like a large RV with high pressure in the tires.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the pressure gets too low, the tires can blow. Same thing if they get too high.
That's what they say.
So you got to keep them right in the middle, right? So we're going to keep an eye on them. So I was doing that on this 3,000-mile road trip that we were going on. And I found that there's something very particular about gas station air pumps now.
Mm.
They almost all have computer chips in them now. They're not the vending machine style where you just put in the quarter and then the pump kicks on and it kicks on for like 3 minutes and then gives you the pressure and you can pump however much air you want into your tire.
Mm-hmm.
No, now they have these deals where you tell the computer on the box what you want your air pressure to be, and then it checks what your air pressure is currently at, and then it goes tss, 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 and it does this automated process to get you the exact air pressure that it needs. But now this sounds great, right? It sounds great.
Sounds
So far, so
fantastic.
good.
Right,
So far,
so
so
far,
good.
so
Sold me on
good,
air
yeah.
pressure
But the law
technology.
of Occam's razor creates such that you're just adding more complexity to something that already worked. And so the first problem that I ran into is I was in a 29-foot or 29-foot RV, which has semi-truck tires on it.
Mm.
Now these semi-truck tires have really high air pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And,
so high.
and you can't get the air pressure on these automated deals higher than 80 because it's like a liability thing now, because they added a chip and now it's doing the work that the human was supposed to do. Now it won't let you pump pressure higher than 80 because it's like, well, why would you ever need higher than 80 pressure on your tires? The tires are going to explode. That could be dangerous. It could kill somebody. We could be liable.
Wow.
So now you can't do that. And then of course, like only half of them work.
As those machines normally.
As those machines
Yeah.
normally do, but
Pretty standard.
yeah, and then and then you have to like set the thing, and then it tells it, instead of the gauge, right? The little gauge you press, and then the thing slides out, and it tells you the tire pressure. Now it's like, no, I'll tell you when I'm at 35 psi, and then so you fill up your tire thinking that it's at 35 or 40 psi or whatever, and then you get in your car or you check it with the actual gauge, and it's not at that. And so yeah, just one of those things. Like, I'm not a Luddite. I'm all about, like, you know, the useful advancement of technology for the sake of humanity. But like,
Good gosh.
was that one of the things we need? Like, is that actual progress? Do we need to have computer chips in air pumps at gas stations, or are people not capable of just like going, my tires needs to be 40 psi? Psst, check. Psst, check. Okay, it's at 40.
It's like right there in your hand, not 10 feet behind you.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah, and then like
yeah.
what it's like no, let us tell you when the tire's full. It's like, no, that's the human's job. It worked all along. Why are we reinventing this? This is so unnecessary and costly, and it breaks more often.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could apply the same principle to, like, you know, editing film back in the day.
No, because
when they
that's super
had to
slow
just
and
chop it
cumbersome.
with their scissors or
No,
whatever.
that's way different. That's way different.
It's the
because,
same thing, I think.
No, because
about
cutting
the same.
film is so laborious and unnecessary. This requires the same amount of labor. It's no quicker than it was before. It's certainly not as quick as transitioning from film to digital.
Uh-huh.
No way.
Nah.
Right. Well, but you know what? The one thing,
It's just one of those things.
Cutting
that make me
real
scratch my
film.
Yeah,
head,
bringing it
man.
back to film now.
yeah.
since we are filmmakers.
Sorry, this is just.
No.
And if I look grimy, if I apologize for my grimy appearance, I've been.
Yeah,
planning
you
out this
do. You're
workshop,
dirty,
this
son.
Okay,
work
they're listening to
warehouse.
this anyways.
Okay,
Yeah, they
all
can't.
right, all right.
You
Never
can hear the
apologize for
dirt.
how you look on a podcast.
That's funny. Well, yeah, that sounds frustrating, but I'm sure everything else was great.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things, you know. It was just like I was telling Wendy that I was going to rant about it on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
now I am.
Absolutely.
I also learned
Don't
something.
get me started on those gas pumps.
Dude, don't
It's
get me
like,
started
don't tell
on
me
gas
when my
pumps,
tank is
man.
full.
I'll tell you.
I'll stop.
No, the tank full
Filling
thing
it.
is
Wait.
totally fine. Though I used to have to do that with that 67 truck. It doesn't have a gasket. It doesn't like snap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's done, so you have to watch it. You do that on motorcycles too.
Get a little
You just peek
flashlight
in
out.
there. Yeah,
a
you
little
just peek
peek or
in
two.
there. Yeah, we'll let the foam bubble up, coming back down, give it a few
You're like,
more.
whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, Nelly.
Yeah.
Hey.
Like soda
you
added.
dig a
fast
little
food
spoon out and
restaurant.
swish a little bit extra out if it fills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I also learned on an RV trip that apparently you can only go to like $125 or $150 worth of gas when you're pumping an RV.
oh yeah, so that depends on the gas station. I learned about this
yeah.
too.
We own so
Yeah.
that I didn't even know that it depends on the gas station
Yeah.
because we only ended up at gas stations where it had a limit.
Right.
And we thought we were filling our tank all the way, and then we get out of there and we're like, wait, this is only half full. Is the
Okay,
gauge
so I
broken?
stopped at a town.
So
and
you
What's
gotta
the deal with this?
you gotta fill it up and then
Then
drive
fill it-
forwards.
yeah.
And then fill it up again.
I got a
Or
story
wait
about
5
this.
minutes.
What the heck's going on with this?
I stopped at a little town.
Let the pump cool off.
It was like Elgin, Texas, and there was the guy that owned the gas station was also working at this small gas station, and I started pumping, and it only went to 50, and then he comes out of the station. He's like, "Oh, did it stop?" And what happens is that, especially for these mom and pop shops, the banks won't they can choose. They can say like, I want to have $150 and then have it automatically stop.
Uh-huh.
But if somebody drives off, you as the owner have to pay for that. The bank
Oh.
doesn't cover that.
Okay.
So a lot of the bigger chains will take on more of that risk
Mm.
because they can handle it. But like the smaller places, so you just have to go inside and then
Yeah.
authorize it
Okay.
inside.
Okay.
That's the only.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we were surprised when we left and only had half a tank
Yes. Yeah.
full.
We thought it was full and it stopped. Yeah.
We were like, wow, the gas price, it's not really that bad.
I'm sure a lot of people realized that over the last
this
few
might be
months.
a cheap vacation.
Yeah.
Cheapest
no,
vacation
It's just
ever.
half a tank now.
Yeah, it's yeah. Yeah.
So.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, I
Good
don't think
intro.
we
we
can
can talk
Good
about
top.
whatever
That's a
we
good bit.
want.
That's a
I just
good bit.
wanted
I
to
don't think we
give
can
that
top
bit.
this conversation. Should we just stop the podcast?
RVs.